Hello, my friends. I'm going to talk a bit about karma from the perspective of A Course in Miracles, with, of course, a little bit of yoga psychology as well, because you really can't understand karma without understanding some of the yogic psychology behind it. That karma, according to, well, the Sanskrit word karma literally means action, motion. It's not punishment. It is not any form of you'll get yours, you did this and karma's going to get you. Nothing to do with that. Karma doesn't keep track of wrongdoings or right doing. It is impartial, but it is habitual. It plays out according to the action that we put in place, according to the motion that we put in place. And the yogic perspective, psychologically speaking, is the five kleshas, or the five afflictions of the mind. Buddhism talks about this too. The kleshas, the five afflictions, are slightly different in Buddhism than it is in yogic tradition. The kleshas are ignorance, that we are ignorant of the patterns that go on in our brain, that we act out, that we project outwards, as well as ignorant of who we truly are, ignorant of our essential nature. We believe that we are a false ego, personality, limited, as well as separate from the entirety, from the source, from God, which is another one of the kleshas. We'll call it number 2. And that is belief that we are a small, limited, egoic self only, as well as being attached to our aversions. We don't want this, we don't want that. We maneuver through life trying to avoid all these things that in life are really unavoidable, as well as our attachments, being number 4. And number 5, attachments, by the way, are the same as our aversions. We keep maneuvering through life, going after stuff, and going after stuff. Then the 5th is fear of death. And the fear of death that we're talking about isn't limited to the body. It is the egoic perception that if we wake up, if we're no longer ignorant, if we no longer have our aversions, if we no longer have our attachments, if we no longer believe that we are a limited self, then the ego has no need to exist and will die. So the ego keeps us trapped in fear. We move through life with all of those 5 afflictions affecting everything we do, which causes us to project it outwards. This is what Carl Jung would call the shadow, and that's our reality. That's our perception. All of those perceptions cause us to act in a certain way, and it creates patterns in the mind called samskaras. Samskaras is simply mental imprints, and we have a mental imprint for everything in life. When we're literally trained, when this happens, we fall into this groove, this pattern, and we react this way. The whole process of yoga is learning how to respond instead of react by erasing those samskaras. When we erase those samskaras, we are karma free. We're no longer bound in the cause and effect. The Bhagavad Gita offers many ways of escaping the grip of karma, one of which being karma yoga, in which is selfless service. Course in Miracles doesn't really contradict anything offered here in yogic psychology. However, they simplify things. The mind has 2 voices: fear, which ultimately is an illusion, and love, which ultimately is the only reality. Only love is real, according to A Course in Miracles. However, we've lost sight of love. We've lost track of love. Love is no longer a present reality. It's a concept that we only know partially. We know versions. We don't know the depth, the reality of love, which is who we are. And that causes fear. And that fear is projected outwards into a fearful world. That's our perception. And we live in a fearful world, causing fearful actions, which keeps us trapped in that karmic cycle. Reaction. Something happens, we react. That reaction causes something else to happen. There's another reaction, something else happens, and it splits infinitely so. And we live in a karmic world. Course in Miracles says, forgiveness is the key to escaping our karma. Karma itself is part of the illusory world. It's not real. When we forgive, we are experiencing reality as it is, in the moment. In the moment, there is no past, there is no future. So what is there truly to forgive? If nothing happened right now, this moment, what is there to forgive? When we realize that, there's no karma. Not only is there no karma for us, we are not producing more karma for ourselves or for other people. Do we totally escape? I don't know. I'm not there yet. All I know is I'm working on forgiving 24/7. Working on it, practicing. Again, I'm not there yet. However, I can tell you that even a little bit of practice, the Bhagavad Gita says that even a little bit of practice along the spiritual path is enough to erase lifetimes of karmic ties. Sorry, the word escaped me for a second. I don't know if that's true or not. However, I know that the practice of forgiveness is profound and it's freeing. For us, we're not freeing someone else from their karma. Hey, that'll happen on its own whenever. Who knows? Or for lifetime after lifetime, they'll stay trapped in it. I hope not. But my own practice helps liberate me, frees me. And in that freedom, I get to extend love. And maybe some of that love will cause a little less reaction. Maybe in that love, people will be a little more responsive. And in that responsiveness, in their responsibility, their ability to respond, there'll be a little less karma. They'll be a little more free. They'll experience a little more love. And we'll see what happens. So, guys, I don't know why people don't practice forgiveness. Why would anyone want to be stuck in those patterns in this lifetime, or if there's another lifetime, that lifetime? It's enough that you can be free right now, because in reality, in the ultimate experience of love, you already are. In this present moment, none of the things that you have resentments for, none of the things that you have a grievance for, none of the things that you are judging actually exist. In the absence of a thought, and every grievance, resentment, and judgment is just a thought. In the absence of that thought, what's going on right now? That's forgiveness. That's a gift that you give to yourself, not anyone else. All right, guys.